Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Michael Mastro, and this is Transformational Vedic Astrology. And today we're going to look at the chart for Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, born in '89 in Bronx. If you looked at the horizon when she was born, you would see the sign of Scorpio arising at 22 degrees. 22 degrees becomes the most effective point of every house. Any planet that's within 5 degrees, like Mars and like Sun, have a lot of impact in her chart. Um, First, we're going to look at how the planets are operating. Then we're going to see when the planets are operating and what we could do to strengthen the chart. So the first thing we want to look at and see is where the Multrikona signs are. So remember, many of the planets rule two signs, like Venus rules Taurus and it also rules Libra. But Libra is the Multrikona sign because Venus represents relationships. It's closer to, in signification, to Libra, which is all about relationships. So the Multrikona signs are one for Aries ruled by Mars. And so she's going to be learning about conflict and debts and um, health and healing, fire, theft, and cheating. And so all these houses represent some aspect of our life. And you see the fourth sign of Cancer ruled by Moon. So this is a Multrikona sign. And so this house has to do with politics, beliefs, religion, good fortune. And then you see the fifth sign of Leo, ruled by Sun, which is going to be focused on career. Then you see the sixth sign of Virgo, ruled by Mercury. This is the house where she's learning about connections, goals, income, friends. And then you see the seventh sign of Libra, ruled by Venus. So she's going to be learning about spiritual growth through letting go of attachments, losses. Then you see the ninth sign of Sagittarius, ruled by Jupiter in the second house. Second house is all about wealth, recognition, and continuation of the family or the marital bond. 11th sign of Aquarius, ruled by Saturn in the fourth house, happiness through home life, learning about that. So these are the areas of life that she came to learn about. Now, we know that any Multrikona sign that falls in the Dustana houses, the 6th, the 8th, or the 12th houses, that planet that rules that sign becomes functional malefic. So here we have Mars ruling Aries, the first sign. So Mars becomes functional malefic for this chart. And then we have Libra ruled by Venus in the 12th house. So Venus becomes functional malefic, along with Rahu and Ketu, which are malefic for every sign. So it does not mean that necessarily will cause challenges, but if they are aspecting or afflicting within 5 degrees any house, if they're close to the rising sign degree, or any planet that's within 5 degrees, then they can cause some harm in either the natal or the transit chart. So let's just look and we'll see how these planets are actually operating. So let's look at Sun. Sun is at 26 degrees. Any planet that's more than 25 degrees is said to be in old age, and it has some degree of weakness. Now, Sun is ruling the house of career, placed in the house of income. So Sun is associated with leadership, politics. So she says that her career can be associated with leadership and politics. And also she can gain income through that leadership and politics. And it is afflicted by Mars, so that can give some controversial views. And think she had good support from her father, although her father died a few years ago. Um, then let's look at Moon. Moon is at 9 degrees. It rules the house of good fortune and politics, and it's placed in the house of education, children, and investments. So it says that she can have good fortune through public, educating the public. So that's exactly what she's doing. Um, and uh, and she has good compassion as well. Moon is all about not only working with the public, but having compassion and counseling others. Mars is at 21 degrees. It is functional malefic and it afflicts Sun, so it is causing some issues there. And it aspects 4, 7, and 8 houses away. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So it afflicts the family and wealth and recognition. So she's had some ups and downs. Mars also represents property. So when her father died, the property was in dispute, and she lost a lot of money trying to defend the property. Let's see, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it afflicts this house of education. And I think she has some student debt, investments, and children. So no children yet. It also afflicts health and conflict in her life. So and the house that it's in as well. So that's the house of income. Then gives her a competitive fighting spirit and can affect some of her friendships and connections. Let's see. Mercury is at 9 degrees. It's exalted. It's in this house, 11th house, and it's ruling its own house, which is that house of friendships and connections and income and goals. So it gives her strong goals, persuasive speech, and support from friends to win the election. Jupiter's at 16 degrees. It is ruling that house of wealth and recognition. It gives wealth and recognition through research into politics. It's in the house of research and into equal rights for all and justice as well. Jupiter is about legal issues. And let's see here, what else? She actually won an award from MIT in school for a microbiology project. So she's quite intelligent. She has good intellect. The Mercury gives good intellect. It is debilitated in the Navamsa chart, so it is weak. So all of these planets pretty much need strengthening. Moon is probably one of our strongest planets, as well as Saturn. So let's see. Venus gives spiritual growth. It rules the house of spiritual growth through letting go of attachments. And it is placed in the first house. So Venus gives good looks. This is the house of how people see you. Venus is beauty. So it gives beauty. And it also rules this house of feet. So she complains that she has foot issues, standing so many for hours in this when she's giving speeches. She's also a dancer. This is Venus's performing arts, and she gives her donations to charity, her political donations. So that is helping with that Venus, and she is a very strong advocate for women's rights. This also helps with Venus. And then Saturn is at 14 degrees. It's fairly strong, and although its dispositor, which is Jupiter, is weak, so it needs some strengthening as well. But Saturn rules this house of happiness and home life, so it gives happiness through Saturn is service and in the house of recognition. Um, Public surface, and it is aspected by Jupiter. So they are aspecting each other. So Jupiter is giving that service for equal rights for all, and Saturn is, adding to research and legal issues and justice for all as well. So they're influencing each other. Now, Rahu and Ketu, although they're malefic, they're benign in this chart. They're at 0 degrees, which doesn't mean a lot, but they're not afflicting any other planet. They're not close to the rising sign degree like Mars is. Mars afflicts 4, 7, and 8 houses away because it's close to the most effective point. But they're not close to the most effective point, so they are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 not afflicting Jupiter, 6, 7, 8, 9 not afflicting the 12th house. Ketu, same thing. So Rahu gives this desire for happiness and home life and career, and Ketu gives insights into career, spiritual nature about her career. So now let's look at the timing of events. So she's fairly young, no big events, but she was very close to her dad, and he died in September 2008. And if we look at that, let's see, 2008, she was in a Mercury-Mars period. And let's look at the transit chart for that time. Here we have the transit chart. So we know Mars is malefic, close to the most effective point, and in that transit chart at that time, Mars was afflicting Venus and Mercury, losses, end of life, Mercury, friendship. Mars has to do with illness, afflicting Sun, which means is signified as father. And then Rahu is afflicting, Rahu and Ketu are afflicting the 9th house, which is also father, and friendships, and also 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and yeah. So a lot going on there. So the inner circle is where the planets were when she was born, and the outer circle is where the planets are on this day, September 18, 2008, when her father died. So let's go back to the birth chart again. Oh, jeez. Hold on one second. Get rid of this. Okay. So let's look at the other timing of events. So in December of 2016, she really hadn't started her political career. She was in a K2 period, and she had an epiphany. She decided that Standing Rock is where the Indians were protesting the pipeline, and she was there, and up until that point, she didn't really feel like she could make a difference. But she decided she was really going to stand up for the working class and those who could not defend themselves. And so that was during a K2. K2 is, spiritual experiences. In 11/16/2018, during a K2 Sun period, she won her bid to Congress, and Sun is politics. And then now she's in a K2 Moon period with some controversial speech. And Moon is, about the politics and belief systems, and looks like she may win again in 2020. We'll see what happens. Uh, Definitely a charismatic, influential person. Apparently, she had no money to run against a very strong opponent who had a lot of money. She just raised, through grassroots efforts, small donations, and a lot of hard work, door to door, and won that election. And so we'll see what happens in the next election. She has more followers than most of the other people in Congress. So we'll see what happens. Thank you for listening. Again, my name is Michael Mastro. This is Transformational Vedic Astrology, and we're using sidereal zodiac, not the Western zodiac, tropical zodiac. So thank you again for listening. If you're interested in getting a reading, you can go to www.vastu.creations.com or vastucreations.com. If you're interested in learning Transformational Vedic Astrology, you can go to American Institute of Vastu.com. And thank you again for listening.